back to The Authentic Advantage, everyone, the show where we explore the stories, mindsets, and experiences that shape who we became as leaders, professionals, and, of course, human beings. Today's guest is Anne Roche, a professional certified coach, former attorney, blogger, and life leadership coach. And for nearly a decade, Anne has been helping people cut through the noise, ask the hard questions, and reconnect with what they truly want out of life. But beyond coaching, Anne is helping people tell better stories, think differently, and lead themselves with greater intention. And today, we're diving into self-leadership, reinvention, and the power of asking better questions, and what it really means to take ownership of your life. So, Anne, welcome to the show. Excited to have you here.
Oh, thrilled to be here. Thank you so much, Angie.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you a couple would you rather questions so we can get to know you more. So, I love these because I play this game with my kids, and these are my favorites. Would you rather be invisible or read people's minds? So, like, you're in a room and you
Invisible.
know
Totally.
invisible.
First of all, I do not want to know every thought somebody has. Talk
I can't
about
even
turning off the noise.
yeah, we have enough noise in our own head, right?
Yeah,
Um, but then if you're invisible, you could also see if people are talking about you.
yeah. I'm not sure I'd want to know that either.
I know. It's a double-edged sword. Okay, so would you rather be able to fly or run at cheetah speed?
Yeah, that's such an easy one for me. Fly. I have always had dreams of flying. I had one the other
Me
night,
too.
actually. Yeah, fly. I would love to fly.
I would love to fly too.
Yeah,
Um, okay, morning person or night owl?
both.
Really? I
Yeah.
right? So you're not getting much sleep either.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love that time where no one else is needing me and I can do whatever I want, whether that's early in the morning and I love being with the world as it's waking up, but
Yeah.
also at night where it just feels like I have endless amounts of time. Yeah, it's so lovely.
Yeah, for me, that's when I get the most peace. It is
Yeah.
everybody goes to bed, so I'm forced to stay up late. I love that. Already a couple things in common, and you've been a pleasure to speak to. I love the way you think about coaching, and we're going to
Mm,
dive into that in a second. But first, you told me you're writing a book. This is very
yes.
exciting. Will you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's so much fun. The working title is Transform Your Life Without Blowing It Up. And it's so much fun. We were talking beforehand. I'm doing the whole thing myself. I have a publisher, but I'm writing the whole thing myself. And Angie, it has been such joy to work through what this book is, what it is I'm trying to say, um, how I'm trying to say it. It's just so much fun. But it is essentially the process I take a client through. So it's essentially what I do one-on-one with a client in book form, and what I also do in workshops. I also do workshops, but in book form.
It is a great experience as a writer myself. And for me, it was
Yeah.
very therapeutic almost, right? Depending on what you're writing about. But even though you talk about it every day, when you write it out, you think about it a little bit differently, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's an invitation to just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper into why and who and
Yeah.
how it's such fun to do this with a client face to face. Does it translate in book form? I As you mentioned, blogging, I have a weekly blog, and those are short little stories, and what the reader takes out of that is up to the reader. So, but this is long form. It's it's totally different. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. I hope I'm getting it in a way that translates well for the reader.
Well, I think it's going to translate to the right people, right?
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
huge believer
yeah,
in that. And you said it's coming out next May.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It takes
All right.
forever.
So everyone look out for that. And we're going to give more information at the end of the episode on how to reach out to Anne. So where are you today with your work and your coaching business?
Yeah. So I work one on one with essentially high level leaders. And in organizations. And I do that, and I run workshops and writing this book, and writing a blog. It's so fun to be in a profession that allows me to share the power of transformation across different mediums. So I love that creativity of being able to work with people in different ways, whether it's one-on-one or in a workshop or facilitating a group or through the writing.
I think connection is so important, and you have a lot on your plate. You're doing so much. But I have to ask, I was looking at your resume and profile, and you spent years as an attorney before becoming a life leadership coach. So one, I
Yeah.
want to know, like, well, what happened in your own life that,
Yeah.
you realize that this is where you want to go, that because that's a big change.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big moment for me. And that's it's definitely in the book because that was I love being an attorney. I was a criminal defense appellate attorney uh, for people without means. And I loved it. I'd spent a long time trying to get there and got there and loved it, loved it, loved it. But I was in this inflection moment in my life where my parents were aging and needing more care. My kids were
Yes.
becoming teenagers and needing, I don't know what they needed, but it was just,
Yeah. We never know.
and I loved my work. It was very intense. And it just felt like everything in my life felt really hard. And that really pissed me off, Angie. I was like, my clients' lives are hard, right? Like my clients are in jail. That's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I should not feel this way. Like what is so hard about my life? I shouldn't, I was so mad at myself that my life felt hard. I was like, that's some bullshit. And
Yeah.
I had this moment where I had kept thinking about if just one thing in my life would change, it would be so much easier. If I could just get rid of one thing in my life, it would be so much easier. And then I had this literal like lightning bolt moment where I realized I didn't actually want less. I wanted it to feel more. I wanted just all of
Yeah.
my life to feel more,
Like
not
purpose driven.
less. And I said to myself in that moment, I was like, more what? More what? And this word joy popped into my head. Now, you
Mm.
and I were talking ahead of time. I was a cynical East Coast criminal defense attorney. I don't think the word joy was in my vocabulary. And I laughed out loud when I said it. I was like, what in the hell does that even mean to me?
Right.
And I realized that what I wanted more of was a deep connection. I had lost the feeling of a deep connection to my husband, to my kids, to my parents, to my work, to my life.
Yeah.
And it was such a magical moment for me, Angie, because I saw this little like thing out the corner of my head, out of my eye, and I was folding laundry at the time. I was so mad, but I was having this moment, and I was like, I got to pay attention to this. And I saw this little thing out of the corner of my eye, and I turned, and I saw my husband walking our dog in, and like a dam breaking loose. All the love I felt for him, the connection I felt for him just came rushing into me. And I was like, wow, it's been there this whole time, that deep connection to him, to my life.
Yeah.
I was so focused on what I didn't want, stress, more to do, responsibility. I was so focused on what I didn't want. I hadn't been paying attention to what was already there. And I was like, wow, the joy is like so available to me. And I just hadn't been focused on it. And in that moment, I made a promise to myself. I mean, this is crazy. It sounds crazy, but it is so true. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but like 5 times in my life, I've had this like total aha moment, and I have known, pay attention. And in
Yeah.
that moment, I made a promise to myself, anything that gives me this feeling or puts me on the path for this feeling of joy through deep connection, I'm going to say yes to, even if I don't know the outcome. And everything that doesn't, I am going to say no to, even if it's something I would normally have said yes to. And
Like the safe choice, basically.
yes. Or like
Yeah.
saying yes to things and then resenting it. Or,
Hmm.
or like, yeah, I'll do that for you. And then being like, what in the heck? This is not where I am at my best. Like, why am I doing this? That changed everything in my life. Everything in my life changed from that moment on.
Yeah, I
Crazy.
can resonate. And there's a few of us, right? Not a few, more than a few, but the majority do take that safe route, right? Well, I'm doing it for the money. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it
Yeah.
because I already went to school and it's easy and I know the outcome.
Yeah.
Many of us do have those crazy thoughts that sound
Yeah.
crazy, but don't do it because we are scared and we don't know the outcome. And so I can resonate with you. I have been there, and that's why I'm here where I am today. And
Yeah.
yeah, we do sound a little out there, but I see such a huge difference also in my happiness and the way that I'm leading life now because it's more aligned. So
Yes.
100%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that
Yeah.
alignment.
Yeah.
And I do focus on a gratitude list every day, even if
Mm.
it's something as
Right.
simple as so grateful for hot running water, right?
Yeah, yes, I just wrote about that the other day. All these cold plunges. I'm like, hot water is such a luxury.
It
Every
really is.
shower is such a gift.
I mean, internet, and as a mom, I do Instacart all the time, so these little things, like, I'm so
Yeah,
grateful that I have
yeah,
time back because of these things, and that if it were taken away tomorrow, it's things that we all take for granted, but
yeah,
when you that moment with your husband, it made me think of that because it was right in front of you, but
yeah,
sometimes those things are right in front of you, we take it for granted,
yeah.
and we're so distracted, right?
Yes, and we're so focused on what we don't want. We don't see it. And to your point, Angie, like those are real things, money and responsibilities. There's a lot in life that you have to do or that are real issues that you have to work on. But how can you align what it is you want to feel more of with even those things that you have to do so that those are infused with the thing you want to feel more of. And it was that moment that then I said yes to. Somebody said, "You're so good at giving advice, you should become a coach." I'm like, "That's not a real thing, is it? I don't know what that is." And I looked it up and there was a program starting and I called them and like within the first 5 minutes, the person running that program, Bill Seck, said the words joy, connection, deep connection. And I was like, I'm going to say, I promised myself I would say yes, even if I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. And so I said yes to taking IPEC, this certification program, never expecting to leave law, never expecting to become a coach. But by the end of that year, everything in my life had become so joy filled, even though I hadn't given anything up. I was still married. I still had kids. My parents were still, but every part of it felt so different, felt so filled with joy and deep connection that I was like, yeah, I got to help other people do
You know,
this.
you're on the right path. Yeah. And now, like, you're making such a big difference, and you have this book coming out, and you're writing all the time, and you're helping people on an individual basis, which is awesome. One thing I love that caught my eye. So when I first met Anne, well, it was online, but her LinkedIn profile says, I am your coach. I'm not your boss, spouse, or mother. And I absolutely love that because it's just that direct nature. And of
Yeah.
course, because she's from the East Coast.
Yeah.
But I have to know, like, you wrote that out for a reason. Why is that distinction so important? And what do people like misunderstand most about coaching?
Yeah. It's a great question. Well, coaching really is about moving forward. So I think, when people are in a challenge, and I speak from experience on this. This is where I was. I wanted somebody else to change. I wanted somebody else to tell me how to get through it. I wanted somebody else to come along and say, do this,
Mhm.
do this, to be fine. Uh, well, that's bullshit. Doesn't happen. Doesn't work that way. It can for a minute. You can be inspired. You can be even be motivated, but it's not sustainable until you actually look internally, figure out the ways in which you are getting in your own way
Yeah.
and pull the answers that you need to move yourself forward. And so, as a coach, I'm an objective third party. I'm not going to tell you how to solve your problems. I'm not a consultant. I'm not going to tell you here's what you need to do. Um, I'm not going to listen to you stay stuck. I'm not going to keep saying, yes, yes, it's understandable. Keep going. It's understandable. Of course, you're always right. You're always right. I'm going to
Right.
stand. What do you want to do about it? What do you want to do about it? I'm going to, hopefully create a safe enough space for us to really be in a partnership. But the expectation is that we are moving forward. You are moving yourself forward. And I try to be as clear about that as I can up front because, you know, if you're not ready for that, and not everybody is, and that's okay. If you're not ready for that, that's okay. Try whatever else you need to try. But when you are ready for that, I always say I'm not in the money taking business. I'm in the transformation making business. When you are
Yeah.
ready for that, that's when real transformation can happen.
I agree. I've seen people, sign up for programs and hoping for this magic outcome, but
Yeah.
they don't want to put in the work. So
Yeah.
I can see why you said that. And
Yeah.
I should probably add a disclaimer on my. But no, it's true. You have to be ready to do the work,
Yeah.
and not everybody's a fit. And I also agree the transformation business, because I don't want your money. It's no good to me if you're
That's
not
right.
ready, because we
That's
want
right.
to help create that change.
Yeah.
So, talking about helping people turn off that noise and hear their own answers, what does noise look like today? And why do so many people struggle to trust themselves when making a
Mm.
decision?
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. I mean, I think for a lot of people, fear comes in many packages, many flavors.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. And I think ego is a part of it. I for sure, I mean, one of the reasons I decided that I had to help other people to help other people through coaching was I was caught up in the, if I'm not a lawyer, who am I? Identity.
The identity. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, which is why, like, a lot of the people I really resonated with in my coaching program were men who are having similar issues around that. If I'm not this leader, or I'm not this CEO, or I'm not this,
Mm.
provider, who am I? Um, but fear makes a lot of noise. And it's so interesting because the noise is almost always bigger and harder and darker than the thing you're afraid to look at.
Yeah. And
It's
never mind that it's a made up story, right? That's not even true most of the time, the fear.
yeah,
It is just a story that you told yourself that may or may not be true. And so, but we have such a visualization that it feels real. And then, yeah, we stop
yeah.
ourselves from doing those types of things.
Almost every client says to me at one point, near the end of our time together, wait, it's this simple? Like, yeah, it's the noise that makes it feel so complicated, so
Hmm.
hard. That's the bullshit that we believe in. It's actually really simple. It's like that moment of seeing my husband and being open to that love and connection. It was that simple. I had just created so much noise around it. I couldn't see it.
And that goes with everything in life. I feel like we do make a lot of things complicated that don't need to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
complicated because of that noise.
We've evolved so much that we have to create complications instead, because we don't have to actually, like, you know,
Yep.
survive in the same way.
Right, right, right. We're no longer running from lions. So
Yeah.
now we're going to run from our own thoughts. I don't
Yeah.
know what's worse.
Exactly.
At least I can climb a tree and get away from this one. But this one, there's questions and activities or exercises that you might do with your clients to help them, create a breakthrough.
Mm.
What is one question that you regularly ask that will almost always create a breakthrough for them? And again, going back to simplicity, right? They may have already asked it themselves, but
Yeah.
the way you do it.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, so I'm really transparent sometimes, and I will sometimes, just say, what's the real challenge for you here? What is this really about? Um, because there's just usually so much going on. I'm like, what, why
Like, you
have
level with them, like,
yeah, why haven't you done this already? You're really smart. Why haven't you done this already? What's
yeah.
really getting in your way? That
The
requires,
root cause, the root
yeah,
cause. There's always,
exactly.
always something deeper. Okay.
It's always, and if somebody comes up with a solution really quickly, it's because you haven't gone deep enough. Like, why did you hire me if it was that simple? you know, Fear is a sneaky fucker. As is shame. Those two are monsters, and they are sneaky, and they will hide really, really well. So, I think that's Is this fear or is this fact? Is this real?
Yeah.
Or really fear? Like what? I think you got to really create a safe place to really go into that because it can be so shameful. But one of the things that what I will say sometimes to people that pulls them out of that is if this was your kid telling you this,
Oh
what
my goodness. Yes. I just
what
said the same thing. If your kid or your best friend or family member were going through the same thing, what advice would you give them? And
yeah,
that is almost always the advice you should take,
yeah,
but rarely the one we actually take, right?
right. Yeah. We
Oh,
don't
I
give
love
ourselves
this.
permission that we give so freely to other people
Do you
or
notice that
great.
as a coach too, right? Like, because even
Yeah.
me, when I'm coaching people, I give this advice, and sometimes as I'm writing these plans, I'm like, or I run into the same issue, I'm like, why am I not following the same advice that I tell everybody else? Right? What
Oh,
is
you
that?
see me, you see me. I have to say, I often say that the reason I am in coaching is so that I can stay in these tools and these lessons because I need such a constant reminder of it. Yeah. I'm
It's
doing
true.
this
I'm
for
the same way.
myself.
I am so glad I'm not alone. Thought it was just a me thing. I mean, I know other people do it, but you've just confirmed that, okay, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so many people, they know exactly what they don't want, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us do, but we struggle to articulate what we do want. Why
Yeah.
do you think that is?
I think it goes back to that permission piece. I think it's hard for people to give themselves permission uh, for ownership of their life, to take agency of their life, responsibility for their life. If you talk about what you don't want, it's almost always something else's responsibility. When you talk,
Mm.
you do
Oh,
want,
yeah. Like, it's not my fault this is happening. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's ownership. And so, do I deserve it? Have I earned it? Can I ask for that? Is it too much? Am I worthy of it? What if I get it? What would I do then?
Right. What if I fail?
What if I don't get it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think giving yourself permission and grace is hard for a lot of people. And yeah, I think that's what it is.
And the overthinking piece, I always say don't overthink. Action creates movement. And sometimes, like, especially think about, an entrepreneur building a business. Oh, first I got to do this and I got to do that and build the website and build an LLC. And no, just start working. All the
Yes.
other things are going to come. And maybe as you're looking at the strategy, it's good to have a plan, but it is going to evolve and change. So stop being so dead set on it has to be this way or that way. I'm a huge believer in the universe bringing you exactly what it is. So sometimes we prevent ourselves. We know what we want, but we prevent ourselves by overthinking. It's something that I'm personally working on. We
Yeah,
talk ourselves out of things all the time.
totally. Those to-do lists are often a place to hide, you know.
Absolutely. A
Yeah.
distraction for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really good at that. But for sure, I think that is, I have to do this before I can do that is just it's a fear, tactic. It's and fear is trying to keep you safe. I was just
Yeah.
on a call with Stephen Pressfield. He was reading from his new novel, and he was saying, that he treats fear as this, monster, or resistance as this monster. And I think it's actually trying to keep you safe. I think that's like something in you innate, probably saying, if I risk something, you know, and I fail, then that's going to hurt, and so I'm going to protect myself. So
Yeah.
I often just acknowledging that and thanking. I will say to myself, "Thank you for trying to keep myself safe. I appreciate that. I know I'm capable of this. I know I'm resilient to whatever might come from it, and so I appreciate you throwing up a guardrail, self.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep going here."
Definitely, it is supposed to keep us safe. I read all of Joe Dispenza's books. I mention him all the time. But he says the same thing, again, going back to the lion talk, that's what it was for. It was to
Yeah,
protect us. But now we're doing it every day and we're always in this flight or fight mode, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily healthy. So I like that you say thank you. You acknowledge it. You're not trying to totally dismiss it, but you're going to do it anyways and keep going. And when repeated enough times, right? Anything that's done, I think I forget what it is, 28 days, or you have to keep, but when you do it anything enough times, your body and your brain will adapt, right?
Yeah.
So it just has to happen enough times, and then your brain knows, okay, I'm safe when I
Well,
do this.
it often acts as an alarm bell to remind yourself that there's another way to look at this. Like, what is this telling me, this fear? And then you get to answer that. It's telling me that I needed a reminder to be like, yeah, I can do it. So it becomes like an invitation almost. Remind me. Bring in the fear so that I can remind myself that I actually know more than I think I do. That I already have people raising their hand for this. That they're. I think very importantly, and we were talking about this a minute ago, it's tying to something I want more of. What is it I want more of? Why is that important to me? So that you're really tying it to an internal motivation.
Right. And on the other token, I'd like to know if you agree with this, but we have these thoughts and these fears based on our own belief system, which is
Yeah,
stemming from childhood based on things that have happened to us, right?
sure.
So I sometimes ask myself, okay, you're giving me this fear, I get it. But then I look at other people who've done what I want to do, and if they can do it,
Yeah,
and they've surpassed, right? And so I have to remind
totally.
myself that while this might have been a past experience or I saw this happen to somebody else, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be my experience today.
That's right.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
yeah,
one. Yeah, that's a good. It's so funny. That made me laugh because I thought about that when I was applying to law school. I'm like, I know some people who are not that bright who got through law school, so I know I should be able to do it. And there have been many, many people ahead of you. So
yeah.
why not you? Yeah,
Exactly. And it's something as simple as somebody made a comment to you or the way you were treated as a child. I mean, it could be something so small and subtle that sometimes you don't even know
yeah,
what to tie it back to.
yeah.
So yeah, just recognizing that I think is great. And like as you're looking back at your own journey and you mentioned some of the things recently right now, even just being a lawyer, becoming a lawyer. But what advice would today's Anne give to the version of herself who is hitting that life just became a grind phase?
Yeah. It's interesting. I I think about this question sometimes because I think the struggle and the grind of it was good for me in the sense that like in the sense that I've always been searching for uh I've always been searching for what am I learning? Where am I going? What's next? I think if I were to say to that person, you're going to be fine. It's all going to work out. I probably would have been like, okay, I'll go back to drinking wine and not caring. And that
Yeah.
didn't serve me. What really served me was, is this, is this really what I want out of my life? And that awareness and what do I need to shift? Where do I need to pivot? What do I need to look at that I maybe don't want to see? Um, to get there has been really useful. I really um I hate being challenged and going through hard times, and I also absolutely love it. So
Well, we learn the most from adversity, right? Like
if you're
it's
open
when
to it,
we're
yeah,
right. Well, sometimes we don't have a choice too, right? Like when we grow up in poverty or we grow
yeah,
up in abusive situations or you come out a completely different person than somebody who, right? And so it's a different set of tools, a different way of thinking. And so to your point, when you're talking about being in the trenches and in the grind, you're like forced to be on your toes. You're learning everything at lightning speed and that you wouldn't normally do, right? Again, kick back, drink your wine. But it really forced you to become a level up that
yeah,
of who you needed to be. And I
yeah.
love that. So
Yeah, and I
yeah,
bring all of that to what I do now. I mean, thank God for all of those experiences because I bring all of
right?
them in to my work now.
Well, now you can relate to them. Like, I've been there, I've done that. And I've been in a career where I spent all this time and money and then I left it. And I think that's another big thing that people run into that I'm sure you see. Well,
Yeah.
I want to do this, but I went to school to be a doctor and I spent,
Yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah.
And I have, and
Yeah.
my parents would never forgive me and my wife would. And
Yeah.
so we are often living our life to the
Yeah.
expectation of others. What do you
Yeah.
have to say about that?
Yeah, it's a great point. And there are real concerns there. It's you're not going to make the same kind of money as a coach as you are as a doctor. Um, but whatever it is you're doing, if you are lit from the inside out, if you are in full accessing your fullest power, it's gonna translate in whatever it is you're doing. I mean, this is the only chance you get. This is the only you only get one shot at life. This is it. It's a it's like it's it. That's it.
And do we have a wire to each other's brains? Because I was just saying this too. Like, life is so short. We don't know when our time is up.
Yeah.
Do you wanna live life or do you wanna be alive? Do you wanna live for
Yes.
others? There's only one person that is like you. You came
Yeah.
here to make an impact. Do not come here to appease others. So exactly
Yeah.
what you said. The money isn't always everything.
That's right.
It is that fire that's within
That's
you.
right.
But again, they're valid because you may have built a life that now you have to sustain and you have kids and you
Yeah.
have I can
Yeah.
resonate with that. But
Yeah.
happiness is important, right? And I
Yeah.
think we don't realize that unfortunately until later in life.
Yeah. Purpose. I would say purpose. Like purpose is
Yes.
important. And so what to me, and I not everybody feels this way. To me, I feel like I was put on this earth to do something that's bigger than myself. I love being in service to something that is bigger than me. And I felt that way as a lawyer. I feel that way as a coach. I felt that way as a mother. This is not for me. It may be by me, but it is not for me. And I think that's true too in the world that you're creating. What are you teaching? And you're leading yourself. Whether you are in a leadership role at work, you are always in leadership of yourself. So
Yep.
what is it you are leading yourself? How is it you're leading yourself? What is it you're demonstrating to the world that you've created that is important to you, and why? What purpose is that serving? I- it can be money. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But being clear about it is also important. Being honest about it is important.
Well, and I think it starts with money, but doesn't always end with money. We realize as we get older and again, just you're hitting it so hard. That's exactly why I left corporate America was just that purpose. I was missing purpose. And I really think that you're hitting your purpose now. I think you're doing an amazing job. I am absolutely thrilled for you with the book. I know what it takes, and I can't wait when you come down here, in May. I want to meet you and get a copy of your book. If
Totally.
anybody wanted to reach out to you, where could they find you?
Yeah. You can look at my blog on Substack. It's Fire and Light on Substack. Or AnneRocheCoaching.com. Yeah. I'd love to
Perfect.
let
And that's
that's
ANNEROCH.com.
right.
I will have it in the show notes.
Sorry,
And
AnneRocheCoaching.com. Yeah.
okay, there we go. AnneRocheCoaching.com. And
Yeah.
I'll have that in the show notes. And has been such a thoughtful conversation. I love your perspective. We align so well.
So
And
well.
I know, I seriously, I hate that you live so far, but I love your perspective and the answers that we're searching for, they're often already within us. And we just have to quiet the noise enough to be able to hear them.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, if today's conversation resonated with you, make sure you connect with Anne Roche. Check out her blog. Wait on her book. It's coming. To learn more about the work she's doing around self-leadership and personal growth. And as always, remember your authenticity is not a weakness. It's your advantage. And
Yes.
until next time, thanks for listening to Authentic Advantage.
Thank you so much, Angie. Such a privilege and a pleasure.